everyone, it's Karen, and today I'm at the Cool Tool Studio to share with you an introduction to these beautiful silk screens. They come in lots of different patterns and they have a really fine thread count, which is perfect for making jewelry. Today I'm going to be showing you how they can be used with both enameling and polymer clay. Before we dive right in, let's take a second to talk about what silk screens are. They're a super simple way to add pattern to your work, and they can be used on enameling and polymer clay, as I'm going to demonstrate today, but also many other materials like fabric or wood. They have a solid area that supports the design and resists the material you're working with, and then a very fine mesh area that allows media such as paint or enamel accents to pass through to apply pattern to your work. I love these silk screens. Not only are the patterns super fun, but I think the scale of them is perfect for making jewelry, and they have a very fine thread count, meaning that your designs will always be very crisp and clear. For using these silk screens alongside of enamel, you're going to need some sort of prepared enameled base. The enameling squares that Cool Tool sells is absolutely perfect for that because they're all set and ready to go. Otherwise, you can prepare a copper or fine silver blank. You're going to need a cup to mix in, something to mix with, and these little mini palette knives are perfect for that. And then some sort of enamel additive, so either fine line black, Ferrero Sunshine enamels, or mica powder. And then you're going to be mixing whichever one of these you select into a liquitex thickening gel. And I found that this works really well alongside these screens. You're going to need a squeegee, and then something to work on top of because this can get kind of messy. These screens have a very fine thread count, which means they should be able to be used alongside really thin materials. However, since we're going to be using them on top of an enameled surface that's slick, the screens themselves kind of want to slide around, and then that allows the thin material to slide underneath them. So we're going to be using a thicker base. After I tried out glycerin, squeegee oil, and lavender oil, I was feeling a little frustrated until I remembered that when Jan Harrell was here, she showed us we can use liquitex thickening gel alongside mica powder in one of her videos. So I tested that out and it worked out great. Here are some samples of these screens used with mica powder, sunshine enamel, and fine line black. I had lots of fun playing around with them, and I could not believe the level of detail that you were able to achieve with these screens. Here they are used with fine line black, and the samples where there's a nice bold black pattern. And then the sparkly accents were added using mica powder. And then the colorful prints were made using the sunshine enamels. So you can see those there. I had lots of fun with this technique, and I think you will too. So let's quickly walk through how you can use these screens. Now I'm going to demonstrate how I like to use these screens. I'm going to be working with a Ferrero Sunshine color, but again, you could use fine line black or mica powder or any other enamel additive that you'd like. And I like to start off by adding the base to my mixing container. Just going to grab a dab there. And a little more. It's nice to have more to work with, and you can always scrape it off and save it for another project. And then I like to add my dry powder in. A friendly reminder that if you're going to be agitating a powder like this, that you should wear a mask. Add my pigment in and start mixing. You just want to mix this until you get an even consistency and there aren't any lumps or bumps. Once you're happy with the consistency, you're ready to print. So I'm going to clear out this extra mess here. Alright, so when you're laying down your screen, you want to put the shiny side down. And this is kind of difficult to distinguish, so another way you know that you have it the right side when you're printing is the brand name should read left to right like any other text that you're used to seeing. So you place your screen down on top of your enamel surface, and then a lot of people like to run the material over top of their piece here. I've actually kind of found that for whatever reason I have better luck by placing the material onto the squeegee. So this is kind of just preference, up to you. See what you like best, but for some reason I have better luck with this way. So I'm going to use my palette knife to run a nice bead material across my squeegee here. And then kind of feel for that edge there. That's where things start. So I'm gonna take my squeegee and start it above that point, and I'm gonna kind of push down and then bring it so it's kind of almost level while I'm dragging across, and that's gonna push the material down and through this screen. So again, I'm gonna find that edge, I'm gonna line up with it, I'm gonna come down, and I'm dragging across. It's nice if you can get it all in one pull like that. You can always go over it. And then come across one more time to remove the excess. And again, you can save all of this material. Go over it with your palette knife and put it right back in that mixing cup. Save that for another project. So now I like to pick one corner that I'm peeling away from. And there you have your pattern. You can see right here there's a little spot that I guess I didn't have it kind of pushed down very well. But once this is dry, you can come in and correct that with a pen if you would like, or just something kind of pointy like a clay pick or anything that will allow you to scrape away excess. But you get a nice crisp clean pattern. So this piece is dried, and I'm going to come back in and do a little bit of cleanup. And as I said, this usually doesn't happen, but this was my first go at it, and usually my first try of the day. It doesn't turn out perfectly. So you can correct little issues like this if they do pop up, and this is just a pencil with the lead retracted. You can do the same thing with a pen, and you can just kind of remove if you're finding that's not pointy enough. I've got my ultra clay pick here, and you can also scrape away with that. And you can remove any areas that you accidentally didn't hold it down firmly enough. And say here, I accidentally knocked away too much, you can kind of scoot the particles around. Or if that doesn't look great, you can come in with a brush and re-add to this before you fire it. Or you can fire this in and come back in with a brush and do corrections at that point as well. So these are a great way to lay down pattern, but you can also alter them. On that similar note, maybe you put this on and you've decided, you know, I want a stripe here and then a stripe here, and I want to do a different color here. I want to wipe all of this out. You can do that. So there's lots of fun that you can have with these, and there's plenty of ways that you can edit them and make them your own. Some other fun ways that you can play around with these silk screens is by using multiple colors in one print, kind of for a gradient effect. And I did this with the sunshine enamels just by laying down a light green, an aqua, and a blue next to each other on the squeegee when I ran it across. You can also do one layer, and for this one I squeegeed down some fine line black and then fired it in, and then I shifted the silk screen and then did a layer of mica, and then I fired that in. With this piece, I silk screened on the blue sunshine enamel, and then I came back in and painted in these gray and green accents. This was another project where I started off with fine line black, and then I came in and painted the green and yellow on the snakes with sunshine enamel. So these silk screens are a great way to add pattern, but it doesn't have to end there. There's lots you can do. While there are lots of different ways that you can use these silk screens alongside enamel, if enameling isn't quite your thing, you can also use them alongside polymer clay. I'm going to be showing you how you can use these silk screens with acrylic paint on polymer clay and mica powder on polymer clay. Let's start off with the acrylic paint on polymer clay. I like to work on top of tiles when I'm working with polymer clay. It just kind of sticks nicely to it. And again, you've got your silk screen here, and it's basically the same process as before. You want to make sure this shiny side is down. And I actually find it's a little bit easier to print on polymer clay because unlike the slippery enamel surface, you can kind of press this on very gently and it will stick in place instead of trying to slide around on you. So once that's positioned, I've got a nice acrylic paint here. I'm just working with white, but you can use any color combination you want here. And again, I like to load up the squeegee itself, but you could put the paint on your screen if that works better for you. That should be plenty. And then again, there's where my material starts. So I'm going to start above it slightly, come down, and drag across. And the nice part is, since it's sticking well, you can do a couple passes without worrying about your screen shifting on you, until you feel like you've covered your clay nice and evenly. So then I'm going to bring the squeegee across this way to remove some excess if I can. And then peel up to reveal the printed pattern. Wow, the contrast on that is really nice. So again, these screens are super detailed and they look really great on polymer clay. To apply the mica powder to the polymer clay, we're not going to be using a squeegee. Instead, we just have our silk screen and a brush. And we're going to be dusting it through. So again, position your silk screen on top of your clay, the shiny side down, and kind of press it on gently. This will keep it from shifting. And then I've got my mica powder. I'm just working with one color here, but if you wanted, you could kind of blend from one color to another to kind of add an extra level of interest there. I'm just kind of picking it up with the brush, placing it on, and just kind of dusting it. You want to make sure you cover the whole piece in one go. And I'm not pushing down hard really, but I'm making sure that it's going to be able to pass down through my screen here. And then again, I'm going to pick a corner, gently peel away, and reveal my pattern. And wow, that also looks great. So at this point, you're ready to either use your cutter or your template and a needle, however you want to kind of cut out your final shape, and then you just bake your clay according to the package instructions. Here are some samples of pieces that I made using these silk screens and polymer clay. I used both the mica powder and the acrylic paint in these and had a lot of fun. It's important to clean your screens before the material dries in them, or you'll be creating a headache for yourself. I usually use running water in a sink to do this, but today we're just going to demonstrate it in a dish of water here. And I just kind of use my fingers to gently massage the screen and clean up any excess material that is left. Again, with running water, kind of works a little bit better because you're not kind of picking it up and still to rinse. But you want to make sure you bring it up through the light and check to make sure that there isn't any material left in your screen. And if you're used something oil-based to print with, you might need to use some dish soap and a brush. But whatever you do, make sure you clean up these screens, because if you take care of them, you can use them over and over and over and over again. So that looks good. There's no material left in the screen. I'm going to lay it flat to dry. Same with my acrylic paint. That was water-based. So I'm just going to clean it with water. And again, just kind of spend some time either with your hands or a brush, really making sure you clean these up. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to silk screens and feel like you now have the knowledge that you need to give them a try. They can be used over and over again with so many different materials and make a great addition to any creator's toolbox. Thanks for watching.
Visit our Learning Center at cooltools.us for more cool jewelry making videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to sign up for our email list to be the first to hear about new videos, new products, and other cool stuff from Cool Tools.